the video, like it was like a 30-minute video of her stealing people's jokes, and the delivery wasn't even that good.
Oh yeah, no, this one.
Yeah, so you... Okay, how long did you go to NUI, by the way?
So I went to NUI from 2nd to 8th grade. Yeah, 8th grade.
Okay, let me ask you this, because I've had this conversation with some people. Would you send your... You know, when you have a kid one day, inshallah, would you send your kid to an Islamic school?
See, I feel like my opinion is kind of different because, like, I feel like one of my defining characteristics is that I've been, like, all over the place. I've been to public school, I've been to private school, I've been to...
Diverse.
Yeah, like, vocational school and all that stuff. Now I got Rutgers here. So, they're, like, good and bad. And I feel like if you asked me this, like, a couple years ago, I would have said no. Like, I wouldn't. But now, like, at the point where I am right now, like, as part of the Rutgers community and the Rutgers MSA community, and seeing my friends again after such a long time, because I didn't see them throughout all of high school, right? Like, high school I was doing my own thing, but we quote unquote reunited at Rutgers.
Yeah.
I think I would, because, like, my main worry is that I feel like they wouldn't be socially capable if they went to private schools.
Yeah.
Which I think is a valid argument. Like, some people, like some people of the Muslim community, like, it's not a bad thing necessarily, but, like, I feel like they can only
I think...
talk with people they know. And
I think it's a certain type of socially capable. Like, there's being socially capable with Muslims.
Yeah.
And then there's being socially capable with non-Muslims.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, if you see sometimes people who went to Islamic school, like, be with and around Muslims, you won't notice anything. Like, you won't notice anything off in the way that they interact with each other. But sometimes... when you see Muslims from Islamic school interact with non-Muslims, then you're like, there might be something a little bit lacking there.
Yeah. And, like, that's the main worry, right? Because you're not going to be in the nice bubble of, like, Islamic school for your whole life. You got to get out in the real world eventually.
Exactly.
Right? But then what I realize is, even if that's the case, like, the lessons they learn and, like, the bonds they forge and, like, the skills they gain to be a valuable Muslim leader in the community, right? I feel like that offsets it by so much.
I think you can pick up those same things in public school, though, because there's, like, a diverse group of people you meet.
Well, dude, you went to Edison High School, which had a lot of Muslims.
Yeah. No, some people, some schools, like, we live in Central Jersey, yo.
I'm from North Jersey. I went to Fairlawn High School.
Yeah, your experience, everyone's...
I was one of... Okay, so I was one of my, like, really good friends in high school, Mustafa. He was Muslim. He is Muslim, and I was Muslim, and Muslim. And when we went to high school, like, we never really talked about Islam or anything. Like, it wasn't really like maybe we, like, a little bit, but, like, that was never really, like, much of the part of our conversations.
Mm-hmm.
And so the culture in some areas, like Edison, New Jersey, you can go to public school and delve into Muslim culture with fellow Muslim students. In a lot of places, you can't. But so you talked about the social aspect of it, like, which is that they become a little bit socially incapable. What about?
I know what you're gonna say. Yeah.
What am I gonna say?
The education.
No. We could talk about that too. Yeah. What I was gonna ask was something, obviously extremely important, is raising your kid as sound Muslims, or as a sound Muslim. Exactly.
No, that was my point. Like, in exchange for a little bit less social skill, which might not be even true. Like, I know a lot of people from NUI that are, like, perfect conversationalists that can literally pick up a conversation with anyone.
Oh, sure.
No worry. Yeah, that's just like it's maybe like there's a more likelihood, but it doesn't mean that it's impossible. Don't get me wrong there, right? But I think in exchange for, like, a little bit of a chance for social, like, miss, that they gain a lot of, like, characteristics and values that are important to being, like, a good human and being a good Muslim, which you won't get from public school, like, at all.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No. So in that case, that's gonna be the main thing, because, like, you want your kid, like, when we all have them, inshallah, we want our kids to be, like, good Muslims, good leaders, and, like, do whatever's best for the community, and, like, you want to, and the best way to do that would be to send them to Muslim school. But then it's also the option, like, can you pay for it and stuff like that.
But check this out. Okay, this is another, I think, big part of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
When you're talking about Islamic school, they are taught to be good Muslims.
Yeah.
But a lot of times, so a school that's, from what I've seen, pretty good at this is, NUI, the kids that come out of that graduating class are usually attached to that which they were taught in school. So if they were taught to be good Muslims, they were receptive to that. It was taught well.
Mhm.
Their community allowed them to, like, appreciate that and be good Muslims. But sometimes there's a lot of schools, like there's a lot of Islamic schools around the state even, that and people can tell you about this. People that have gone to the Islamic schools can tell you that sometimes it's like when you force something down the kid's throat too hard.
That was a nice hand signal.
Anyways, when you force an idea down someone's throat too hard, then they go in the other direction. I mean,
Agreed,
it's only natural for that to happen sometimes. Like, and when you're a kid and you're in school, you're like, why is this being forced down so hard? If it's the truth,
Exactly.
you shouldn't need to force it down my throat so hard. And that happens, and they go in the way freaking opposite direction. Kids while they're in Islamic school are doing things that they specifically that are prohibited for them as Muslims while they're in Islamic school. It's not even once they leave. It's like while they're there.
No, I agree. But I think, like, again, my only experience is with NUI, and even then it was limited. And I think NUI is literally like, well, it has a lot of flaws. Don't get me wrong there. But I think it is on the better side of things. So I won't be able to speak like on like other schools. But I think no matter where you go, there's always going to be people that want to rebel against what they're taught, right? Like that's just a given. That's going to be the way of life.
Yeah, but okay, so at NUI, there's this. This is just from what I've seen. Again, so like I'm speaking from the perspective of someone who has not gone to Islamic school, but knows people from Islamic school. From NUI, what I've seen is like this like all the stuff that we're being taught is like part of our culture as Muslims, or sorry, not it's like they're a lot more receptive to it. I think it's more of a like ideal school, and you can't base your judgment of all Islamic schools on how NUI is.
Definitely.
But like the students that I've seen from NUI don't separate what they're taught from how they act. It's one and the same, and I think that's something that NUI has gotten right. Students at a lot of other schools are just taught something, and they're just like, that's just what we go to school to learn. Yeah. And that's it, and that's where they draw the line, and then how they act is different. And they're like, why the hell are we learning these things?
I again, my experience is also limited. I only went there until middle school, but what I think is one of the biggest factors about that is that NUI is located in South Brunswick, right, as part of ICJ, and I think the Muslim community as a whole in South Brunswick is like ginormous, right? And there's so much influence that even that when they leave school, like that influence stays with them. Like their parents are involved somehow, or their friends are involved somehow, or like the mosque is right there, and like they'll hang out there. So I think like that concept of the community inside and outside the school is so strong and prevalent, and because of that, like the students who go to NUI generally turn out to be really, really good. Right. Exactly. So like just because you have, like what you said, just because you have a school, if as soon as you leave the school you go home and like nothing, then I don't think the school's teaching is going to stick. But like from my experience is like the people who go to NUI are very deeply involved in the community, and because of that and that constant exposure, they end up becoming very, very good Muslims. That's
a good point. It's not just the school. It's the surroundings of the school. It's the community around the school. Yeah. It's the masjid that the school is associated with, and the culture within that masjid too. Yeah. Like ICJ.
And like, the NBIC too, yeah.
Yeah, and the NBIC community as well. Yeah. Like have strong communities. But I don't really know if I want to say the names of these schools.
Yeah, if it's bad, I don't think we should mention that.
But yeah, so I mean, there's some. Whatever, we'll leave that part out. But also something like I had this conversation with Kaiser one time with Kaiser Bay. If you guys don't know who Kaiser is, again, if you're watching this, you probably do know who he is. Yeah. But he is the Muslim chaplain at Rutgers. He is, I love him very much. I consider him to be one of my teachers. But anyways, I was talking to him about whether or not he would send his kids to Islamic school, and he said that the best way to He said that public school is a better way for the kid to grow as a leader, can stand out. So someone who has leadership qualities, they can foster those qualities in public school more. What do you guys think about that?
Do you want to go or should I go?
You can go.
No,
You have the best of both worlds.
I mean, yes, I'm not experienced in anything. I don't think I don't think I'm a perfect leader type, but I've definitely seen like leaders in both. Like
you got to see both sides.
Exactly, right? So like, I definitely agree with that. Like the main thing about public schools, it might just be now at the point you are right now in society, and like going to Islamic school is synonymous with like a smaller private setting. That's just how it is, right? But who knows? Maybe in the future it'll be different. Maybe like they'll have more chances. But for now, at least.
What do you mean by that?
So like, for example, if I go to public school, I know for a fact that if I'm smart, I can take all my AP classes whenever the hell I want, and I can like join like competitive math teams that have like very smart teachers that can help me along the way. And like, there's so many resources and so many opportunities and stuff like that. Like South Brunswick High School, I went there for my SATs, dude. That place is huge, and like not even from an education standpoint, even from a physical athletic standpoint. Like they have their own fields and like multiple fields, training facilities, and everything. Like you're not gonna find things like that in a private Islamic school yet. Like we don't know how far it will go in a couple of generations. Maybe maybe then it'll be on the same level. But my point is basically that because that they have those extra opportunities in a public school, if the child is willing, or if the child is talented, or if the child has parents that are very pushy, right? They'll find those opportunities and be able to gain from that. And I don't think that those same opportunities are necessarily there in private schools.
Right.
Yeah.
And here's something else is like when you are in public school, when you're in public, so one of the conviction, obviously as this group of people and a lot of people watching, one of the convictions that we stay closest to and hold truest and nearest and dearest to our heart is us being Muslim and our religion. Exactly. And when you are at Islamic school, the thing that is the most important to you is something that is like homogenous within that school. And when you go to a public school, if you're sticking to that conviction, you can foster that conviction in a more individual sense. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're basically saying that I think that depends on the person. Are you trying to say?
Well, because so I'll actually speak to my own experience. When I was in high school, I was not around a lot of Muslims. I was not around the best company, and so maybe I had some difficulties sticking to that conviction.
No, 100%. I agree with you. Same for me.
I think like in a situation like Ahmad's case, which is where you have a crossroad, kind of.
Even though I was like, they're really good people, like Muslims too, but I honestly think I gained a better sense of Islam like towards the end of high school, like leaving it. Even like after I met like all these like great people.
Yeah.
I think I just developed a better sense like with all this diverse group of people. I just gained a better sense. Like the perfect Muslim isn't the one who prays 5 times a day.
Of course.
You know, I like looked at it in a sense kind of that way because as you said, there are a lot of like Muslims there. So we did have like a bunch of religious people, and I really did want to be like friends with them. But even they like weren't quote unquote the best of people. Like I've met people like from in my high school. I knew a lot of people from college, all that. I just think those like different people from different backgrounds, they helped me like develop my own identity. Right.
Yeah, and but you still kind of had a choice to make.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not to downplay like obviously.
There's a I don't know about Islamic school, but there's a lot of tests in public school.
Like you mean like tests isn't okay? Yeah. Like tests to your faith.
Tests of faith.
There's a lot. Yeah.
Of course there are, for sure.
Definitely.
And I think through those, I mean, like as Muslims, we do have non-Muslim viewers as well. So like we could talk about this a little bit as Muslims. The ones who are tested the most are the ones who are the ones who are dearer to Allah.
Yep.
And it is through those tests that we become even closer to God. And to some degree, yes, obviously it's a great, you don't want tests. Like you don't want to ask for tests.
Yeah. It's inevitable though.
Yeah, it's inevitable. And when you go to Islamic school, it's a different type of test. But I do think this is a certain type of test that will help you grow
Yeah.
a lot that you can't
Yeah.
get from Islamic schools.
Yeah, I definitely think that.
Well, you can get it from some Islamic
Yeah.
schools.
You'll get your test in different ways.
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, no, going back to that point about the strong leaders coming out of public school, that's just a testament to it. Like, if you are strong in your faith
Mm-hmm.
and you're put through all those tests, you're only gonna come out
Yeah.
stronger than
Right.
someone who's just had it like as you said, like a homogenous group of people from the beginning, right?
Yeah.
So like, but I feel like that's very dependent on who you are, like,
On who you are in your surroundings.
Yeah.
and yeah, and how you like. Just because you have a test does not mean you're gonna pass it. Like,
Yeah.
some people will
Of
do
course.
the wrong things. Like, yeah, like Arshad said, I agree. Like, there were a lot of times in high school where I didn't have. I feel like I was the only Muslim in my grade. Maybe there might be like one more, but I feel like I was the only Muslim in my grade.
What school did you go to?
So I went to the academy in
Yeah,
Edison.
Smart guy.
No, it's like a
Cool man.
magnet school in. No. It's a magnet school in Edison. We're inside the county college
Mhm.
campus. There's like a high school there. It was very small. There's only 160 students,
Yeah.
right? So that was another thing. Like,
That's-
everyone
yeah.
was very
In the
very
whole school or in your grade?
whole,
It must
whole
have been.
school.
Damn, that's really small.
Yeah. So everyone knew each other and everyone was tight
Mm.
and like you were close. But then that becomes like a problem because there wasn't like, it was a joke in our school that we were like not diverse at all. Like, we were diverse in the
All
common
Asian?
sense that we had like a lot of brown people
Yeah.
and Asians and all that.
Mm.
But like, that was it.
You were diverse in the scope of the entire
Their worlds,
country,
yeah, but like not, we were not diverse in that school. It was like probably like 99% Asian and brown, and
Yeah.
then 1% everything else.
1% Native American.
But dude, like, straight up, like we didn't have that much diversity, but within that we didn't really have that many like
Do you guys know any Native American people?
Elizabeth
Mm,
Warren.
Not that. Who?
I,
Wait, what he
That's
said?
not what I meant.
Wait, what did you
Is she
say?
Native American?
Wasn't she
Wait,
like
who?
116?
Wait, who? Wait, who?
Maybe.
The
That doesn't
person-
freaking count for
Wasn't it the
anything.
whole
The
scandal?
person? What are you
Dude,
talking about?
Elizabeth Warren being
The
116
one who
Native
ran
American
for-
does not count for
Oh.
a damn
Yeah.
thing.
I mean, bro, we're talking about who we know personally.
Oh
Yeah,
no,
that's
I
what
know.
Maybe we do. Okay, so
Pocahontas.
now here I'll say maybe we do, but we do that messed up thing where we just think they're like Hispanic or something.
Yeah,
Native American.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, but going back to my point real quickly, just like, yeah, if you're within a group that does not have a lot of good influences, it's going to be hard to make the decisions. But inshallah, you guys,
Yeah.
people end up making the right
Yeah.
decisions, and if they do, they become stronger than they were.
I'll
before
also say
in their
this:
faith.
like, I rotated through like a lot of different kinds of groups from like all my public school,
Mhm.
and I think like as I like went through each different group, like I realized the value of like
Yeah.
having better like surroundings.
yeah, for
Exactly.
sure.
Like whether you think it or not, you're definitely gonna get affected
yeah.
by whoever you're surrounded with. You'll pick up their habits.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I also think that parents a lot of the times will think about where they want their kids to grow up and put a lot of weight on it, and you should put a lot of weight on it. But I think it's one of those things where the car, like let's describe your family situation and your kids growing up as a car that's moving.
Mhm.
And the car and like how well the car runs and all that might be dependent on the location you live in, but at the end of the day, the person in the driver's seat or the people in the driver's seat will still be the parents. So no matter where you live, no matter where you are, your parents and your family
Mhm.
can make or break that situation. If you go to Islamic school, they can make or break it. If you don't go to Islamic school, they can make or break it.